All right, Wisdom, thank you much.
The Navy Yard tragedy has some people taking a second look at their surroundings, especially when we go to work.
Earlier this morning, we talked about the importance of having a plan in place in case of an emergency, and you can see that interview on our website at myfoxdc.com. It's worth checking out. But is there anything you can do to recognize the signs of workplace violence before it happens? And if you do have concerns about a coworker, what should you do about it? For more insight, we turn to Cindy Crane, a clinical psychotherapist from Crane Counseling, LLC. Welcome back to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry about the circumstances under which we're having you here. This is something that here in our workplace we've talked about. I'm sure many employees at many places in the wake of what has happened have talked about this. It's a complicated issue, isn't it, in terms of recognizing potential signs and then acting on it.
It is complicated, and I think part of the issue is that we spend so much time in the workplace that it can very often become the target of a lot of people's rage.
And it's not uncommon. It's not that it is common, but it's not uncommon, right?
No, as a matter of fact, it's the second leading cause of workplace death, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
Workplace violence.
That's right.
Wow.
The
wow.
second leading case. Okay, so when we all work with people that we think, got to watch out for that person, but we're not necessarily serious when we say that. All of us have bad
sometimes
days.
you're joking, right?
Right. So how do you really know, Cindy, when it could be a problem?
Well, there are some initial warning signs that we can be aware of. One of the first signs may be excessive complaining or whining, and we say, oh, well, we all know coworkers who whine.
Right.
But this can be one of the early signs. Other indicators sometimes can be, people who are suddenly more withdrawn or the reverse, more expansive. This can be a signal that there's a shift in their thinking that can become advanced behavior and violence.
I know sometimes we think of people withdrawing, but I guess if they typically are kind of quiet and shy, and then that they become the opposite, that's also a warning sign.
If they suddenly become grandiose, suddenly become more verbal in their threats, and that's another very obvious sign. But if suddenly somebody becomes more threatening, either directly or indirectly, verbally, or maybe on social media, these are really big flags that maybe something is happening here that's worse than just your average disgruntled employee.
A lot of us are really private, but you say one of the other tips is if you know about a violent history or if they have aggressive behavior in their past, which is really hard. And Tony, it speaks to that being complicated because you don't want to judge somebody on their past if they got angry with a wife or a husband or what have you, and they told you about it. But when do you know that that's really could be a problem?
I think when it escalates to the point of a threat, it's important right away to notice that this is a problem.
And the past might go, okay.
Of the history, but certainly,
Okay.
yeah, history does inform the chances of something escalating.
Okay, let me ask you about the word threat.
Yeah.
If we're talking, 3 or 4 of us are standing around talking, and one person says, this guy talking about someone at work or the boss or something like, I really want to kill him. Is that a threat? Is that something you should note and think, oh, that's a little much?
Yeah. I think we have to take it seriously that people can't make idle threats in the workplace. It's a dangerous situation, and there maybe can be a lot of captive people there. And so under any circumstances, I would really caution somebody, hey, what's going on here? And then if you have any doubt, report it to the professionals who know how to deal with this, and that's specifically your HR department. These are trained people to know what the risks are and really how dangerous a person can be.
Which was going to be the next question. What do you do? But Cindy, what do you do though if you're really faced with that situation? You know, we spoke earlier with someone, a Secret Service person who was used to dealing with these what's known as these active shooting situations. But say it's not an active shooting situation, but you feel like there could be imminent danger. Do you try to talk to the person?
Couple things. First of all, if somebody is really escalated and you believe that there's imminent danger afoot, I recommend that you first validate. Don't try to talk them out of it. You want to sort of keep them calm. People who are maybe actively psychotic or just in a blackout rage can easily be activated. So we want to just neutralize them. Maybe try to buy time. The CEO isn't available right now. Let's just take a deep breath and talk for 20 minutes, and then I'll definitely get you in to see the CEO. And then the third thing I would say is, as soon as you have an opportunity, report it to the authorities immediately.
Do you first go to your HR department, the the manager or whatever, the general manager, something like that, and then go to the authorities, or do you leave it to the higher-ups to go to the authorities?
My recommendation is leave it to the higher-ups. That said, you do whatever you need to in the moment to make sure your person is safe. But these people in HR are trained in understanding some of the nuances that we as just average employees might not know.
Fine line between negotiating and just talking to that person, saying, validating them. I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
all right, it's hopefully we won't have to talk about this again or for a long time. It would be
Yeah.
wonderful. Cindy
Yeah.
Crane, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks
Good to
for
have you
having
here.
me.
We appreciate it.